Hey, 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 hey. Welcome, welcome. All right, all right. Here we are. Welcome to Dating Differently with Demi and Dr. Conti. And yes, it is just Dr. Conti again. My co host is not here with me again tonight, but she will be back soon. And so we're going to dive right in. I've gotten your questions, I've gotten your comments. So we're going to be talking about the cost of being too accessible. All right, the cost of being too accessible. So share this information. For those who do not know who I am Dr. Conti Terrell, and I am super happy to be here with you all tonight. Both Demi and I have combined our expertise so that we can create a strategic roadmap for you so that we can help you first prepare to have a healthy relationship and healthy love life, and then to confidently choose with clarity and sustain the right relationships. And so a part of that is learning to love healthily and receive love healthily. And so when you are too accessible, a lot of times it breeds a lot of stuff. It breeds uh people using you, people taking advantage of you, people not respecting you, all of those things. So if you are watching, whether you're watching from YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, I want you to chime in on this conversation. Huh, the cost of being too accessible. And I know that many people might say, well, how am I too accessible? So let me talk about, first of all, what that looks like. What that looks like. Hey, how are you doing over there? I see I think it's a rain Ford. Glad to have you, glad to have you. So listen, it looks like this. Always being available when even when you're tired or exhausted. It looks like answering the call on the first call or the first ring or the first text. It looks like, you dropping everything, all of your plans, even if you've got plans with your girlfriends or your family, you're dropping all of your plans to be accessible to somebody. In particular, this is a really, really big issue, particularly when you're first starting to get to know someone. You guys know I always talk about what dating is, and dating is gathering information. And so when we originally start gathering that information and we are way too accessible, guess what you're doing? You're giving information. You're giving information about you, that you're somebody that possibly is too anxious to be in a relationship, or possibly somebody who, if that person is looking for someone to take advantage of, unfortunately, that may be someone that said, oh, she's gullible, she's ready. So looking at how it looks to be too accessible, saying yes when you really want to say no. And let me tell you this, being the cost of being too accessible. Yes, this is a Dating Differently podcast, and we're talking about dating differently and learning to love healthily and show clarity. We're talking about that. But guess what? The cost of being too accessible is not just when you're dating in a love relationship. The cost of being too accessible could cost you problems at work, could cost you problems with family, because you start to feel taken advantage of, you start to feel overextended, you start to feel used and abused. And sometimes it's just because we have to learn to respect and love our own selves, our own time, and not always just be so accessible. All right. So I want you to think about this. Have you ever felt drained from always being the one that people come to? Have you ever felt drained from always being the one that people come to? If that has been you, and many of us have been there, many of us, particularly if you are an overgiver, if you're someone who's extremely compassionate, look, I could raise my hand to both of those. If you're someone who's extremely compassionate, if you're an overgiver, if you're the one people come to all the time, or you're the one that's responsible, or you're the one that's, like I said, dependable, you can easily get drained. You can easily become drained from being the person that people come to all the time. Hi, Elijah. So, what I want to talk about is, why do people take advantage of constant access? Why do people take advantage of constant access? So, familiarity, if everything is always familiar, it breeds comfort. You become comfortable with what's familiar. And that doesn't always breed respect. So people may be coming to you or asking you or going because they're familiar with you. They're comfortable with you. You're the one that is going overboard. You're the one that's going be above and beyond. So why is this a problem when it comes to dating? Because when it comes to dating, we want to make sure that I always say, we have 2 eyes to watch closely, 2 ears to listen closely, and 1 mouth to talk less. Because you want to watch and you want to listen, but if you're constantly giving, doing, talking, how much are you watching and are you listening? And sometimes we can overgive and be so accessible that we miss out on watching to see, are they going to be accessible to us? Are they going to be consistent with to us? Are they going to be clear, show clarity and what they want with us? And what I found in counseling, as well as coaching, and as a relationship expert, and healthy relationship strategist, that's the main thing, is healthy relationship. What I found is, sometimes when you can have somebody that's a healthy person, I always say healthy attracts healthy, sick attracts sick. You can find someone that is healthy, but if you're constantly giving and doing and overly being accommodating, they feel like, wow, I don't have a chance to show her or him, it could be either way, how much I care. Then it starts to feel like you're being it's a swamp, like you're swamped with this person, or it's too much, like they're just too much, and it's like overgiving and overkill. And you don't want anybody to feel like it's overkill. You want it to be reciprocal. You give, they give. You give, they give. You receive, they receive. And in the beginning, when you're watching, you're trying to see if they are they a giver, particularly if it's a male. You want to make sure that people talk about soft girl era and all that, but it's not even necessarily about that. It's about, is this person living in their masculine energy? Because if they're not, and you're constantly giving, then you're going to attract someone in their feminine energy. And that has nothing to do with male or female. That has nothing to do with gender. That has to do with the fact that I don't have to do anything, because that person is doing it for me. And that could be a male that stepped back and say, I don't have to do anything because that person is doing it for me. Or that could be a female that steps back and say, let me just see how much this person is going to do. Welcome, Tanya. Welcome, Lori. Some people feel like they need to prove themselves worthy. They don't know their worth. And you're super, super right. Super, super right. And a lot of times I'm always talking about, are you dating from a whole and healed place? And I have on my site the relationship lab, and I should put, well, it's going across the bottom ticker where you can check and see if you're dating from a whole and healed place. Because just like this, the question, the comment here states, if you feel like you got to prove who you are and you got to show them you're a good person and you got to give and be accessible to someone to prove your worth, that is a huge indication that you are not dating from a whole or healed place. That's a huge indication. Loyalty to a fault. This is a good one. Loyalty to a fault and being overly empathetic is often bred from some insecurity. Yes, it is bred from some insecurity. And sometimes that insecurity could be abandonment issues. Are they going to leave me if I don't do for them or show them? Or will they really like me? Or I need to get them to like me before they really get to know me, because they may not feel that they're lovable or likable. So great. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But we train people how to treat us. We train people how to treat us. And as someone said to me one time, and it just, I have never forgotten it, because I never thought that people could possibly see it this way. But this person said to me, Dr. Conti, but I've been good to them and I've been giving them to them and I've been treating them so well. And so I'm training them how to treat me. And I was like, what do you mean? And she said, well, I feel like if I'm showing them how good of a person I am and what I like and what I want back, then I am training them how to treat me. I said, are they reciprocating? Are they giving it back? The person said no. And so obviously me training them how to treat me is not working. I said, because that's not what that means. We train people how to treat us. I said, what you have trained them to do is that I don't have to give. I don't have to do anything, because this person is showing me and giving to me, and I'm not reciprocating, and they keep doing it. You just train them that I don't have to, because you are, and you are irregardless to what I'm doing. So we have to be really, really careful. We have to look at, am I overly accessible? Am I an overgiver? And why? Why is that? Why is that? The other thing is, people value what they have limited access to. People value what they have limited access to. Put in the chat, limited access. Limited access. They don't make that many Rolls Royces. You know why? Because there's not a lot of access to it. It's a limited access to a Rolls Royce. So the higher the quality, the better, the less access a person should have to you. The more it costs for a person to be able to obtain you. Limited access. So when there's a plethora of access, that indicates to someone that this is not something of value. This is not something that is of worth. Limited access. So be careful, because you don't want to overgive out of your, to the point that you're just, anybody can have you. Anybody can have your time. Anybody can have your ear. Anybody can have your attention. Anybody can have you at any time. That's not a good sign. People will easily take advantage of those who feel that they have to overly give. Some people prioritize convenience over connection. It's convenient. I was listening to someone and they said, and I'm a perfume person. I'm a perfume person. And she was talking about her perfume and that she has a huge thing of perfume in her closet. And I have a perfume tower as well. And she said her favorite perfume is at the very top. So she typically wears one of the ones at the bottom. She said, now I don't wear the ones at the bottom because they're my favorite or because they smell better. I wear it more or them more because it's easy for me to access. It's easier for me to just reach right at the lower part of the perfume tower and get that than to be able to she says she have to get on a ladder, climb up to the top, to the ones that are the better ones, but she got to put more work into it because they're not as accessible. And that's what you want. It's particularly, we're talking to people who are dating differently. Usually, if you are divorcee, if you're a widower, if you're older, you're a second time around or what have you, you've matured. You should not be as easy to obtain as you were when you were in your 20s. You've grown, you've matured, you've become, as I call it, the cake. And remember, a cake has all the ingredients it needs to be good without icing. So you are at that place, most of us. So you are the top perfume on the shelf. Now, sometimes we'll look at, oh, but they're going out with this person, or this person is getting dates, and this person doing this, and this person doing that. But easy access, not necessarily because that person is of quality, or that person has worth, or that person is doing anything different or better than you. It's just that person is easy access. And what you don't want is easy access. You don't want that. So what happens? So releasing that, a lot of times people feel guilty. They feel guilty when they are limiting people's access. They feel guilty. So a person who only calls you when they need something, that's not somebody that's trying to show you love or show you care. A person who only calls you at 10 o'clock at night, that's not someone who's trying to show you that they want to reach up, move to the take you to the next level, or they admire you and see that you are a high level worth person. That's not somebody that's doing that. That's someone who expect for you to lower your expectations, to lower your boundaries, and give easy access. But easy access costs. Easy access costs. A lot of times you end up being too accessible, too giving, too quick. You end up feeling left out, ghosted, used, abused. So I just wanted to make sure that I help all other viewers to understand that the Bible says where much is given, much is required. And I have what I call my Kantiology statements. And I change that around. And I say where much is required, much is given. So if you are not requiring someone to call you back, but you're easy access when they call you, they may not. If you're not requiring someone to raise the bar and come and pick you up, take you on a nice date, be respectful, call you at good time, regular times in the day or not, whatever, not just like, then you are becoming someone that they feel that's easy access. They don't have to do any of those things. You're not requiring it. So loving versus overextending. Let's talk about that. Let's break that down, because you can be a loving person, but overextending yourself is not loving. That's not even healthy. And we want to talk about dating and dating healthily. So giving from when you are loving someone and you are experiencing healthy love, you are giving from a full place, not from an empty place. You don't give from an empty place. I was talking to somebody today, and she was talking about wanting to do some type of charity thing. And I happen to know that this person is not in the best position to do that right now. Great heart. And I said, that's a wonderful thing. That's a beautiful thing. But even the Bible tells us not to give out of our own poverty. You can't be a blessing to someone else when you still needing a blessing yourself. So when you are giving, and you are a giving person, you want to make sure that you're giving from a full place. And I get it, because we have to all learn and grow to be the cake. I remember when I first started Fresh Spirit, I was that person. I wanted to give, I wanted to help. I'd be helping keeping the women's lights on, and I had to run home and make sure my lights were still on. And I had to learn, we have to have wisdom. God says to be wise, and wisdom is twofold. First of all, wisdom is having the understanding of what to do. And then that's the first portion of wisdom. And then the second part of wisdom is having the courage to do what you know. So you have to have the wisdom to know what to do, and then the courage to do what you know. And so that's what the old folks used to say, when you know better, you do better. So you may have been overgiving and not even knowing that it was costing you, or you may have felt that it was costing you, but still didn't understand why. A lot of times, and we'll get to this, a lot of times we feel guilty when we don't give. We feel guilty when we can't say no. We feel guilty when we execute our boundaries. The partner who assumes you're always going to be there no matter what, that might be someone who wants to take advantage of you. And we're not talking about, again, loving healthily. We're talking about she going to be there no matter when I show up, or he going to be there no matter how many times I say I'm coming and I don't come. They're going to be right there waiting. That is someone who is taking advantage of you being a good person, thinking you are loving, but really you're overextending yourself. You are overextending yourself. Being present without losing yourself is loving from a healed place. That's loving. Don't lose yourself. Don't lose yourself. Don't lose yourself in the chat. This is a big part of dating differently, because there was, how many times we've dated back in the day and we just totally lost ourselves. You got so enthralled in the person, so enthralled in the relationship, so accessible, you lose yourself. We're learning to be different, learning to date differently. Many of us have gotten it, some of us hadn't, but this is no judgment. This is no judgment. This is about learning to do better for you to get better. You have to see it before you can be it. You have to do it before you can have it. So you cannot lose yourself, because when you begin to give so much that you lose yourself, this is what costs us. This is why we feel like we're drained. we're tired, we're hurt. A lot of times we were talking about our show a couple of weeks ago was about wanting to date again, but the fear of it and why is so hard to get back in the dating game. And a lot of times, a lot of the questions were in the comments were because it was so draining. Well, it was so draining more than likely because you gave too much too soon. You overextended yourself. You gave too many emotions way quicker than those emotions were shown that they were deserved. You just poured out of you, and then that cost you. By the time you realize this was somebody I poured way too much into that did not earn those feelings, then you're drained. Can you talk on the difference between being too accessible and making yourself available for dating? Absolutely. I will. I'll get to that. Absolutely. So choosing to show up, that's one thing. Choosing to show up, that's one thing. Being present without losing yourself, that's one thing. Giving from a full place. Overextending yourself is when you are giving out of obligation and or fear. I feel obligated to do this because this person has done so much for me, or this person is so nice to me, or this person paid for a very expensive dinner. So I feel obligated to do or to answer. When you're making yourself available, that's okay. But making yourself available is also on your time. If you're making yourself available at the last minute, then you are being too accessible. There needs to be a plan. That person needs to say, hey, how you doing? I can't wait to see you this weekend. It's Monday. They're letting you know I want to take you out on Friday. And I would love to pick you up. I've got a really, really cute. You mentioned to me that you like seafood. I'm just going to make up something. And there's a really, really nice place that I want to take you to. And then you still got to look and see, are you available? And if you're not available, you don't break a date that you already had, even though it's your girlfriend, or even though you don't lose. That's a part of losing yourself. If you have something available, you go. If you don't, then you don't. They'll have to reschedule. That's beautiful. I love that. I would love to go, but I've already had plans this weekend. This is how you stay ahead of becoming too accessible. This is how you hold back from becoming too eagerly to be with someone. And let me tell you, healthy people respect that. And again, you're not somebody that every time I call, you just right there waiting with nothing to do. And ladies, you might not have anything to darn do. You really might not. But that doesn't mean every time someone calls, you have to be available. It really does not. Anytime that you're ignoring your own needs, you're going to lend yourself to running into some trouble, because a narcissist and an abuser or a user, that's exactly the type of people that they are going to be looking for. It's like you. They are looking for people that will drop everything for them. They're looking for that. It costs you your peace. It is not love. It is overextension. It is giving too much, too fast, too soon. It is being too accessible. And that is why boundaries are necessary. That is why when I talk about my 5 stages of vetting, and I talk about having those boundaries, having those standards, go to the relationship lab, get some of those tools, because you have to have those things already set in place. And that's when whoever shows up, it's for whoever shows up. This is how I'm operating. And this is what I expect. And this is what I'm looking to have. And let me tell you, If they are the right person for you, they're not going to be scared of your boundaries. Or if they are a healthy person, they may not be the right person for you, because every good person is not the right person for you. But you want a good, healthy person. That's the start. And you want someone who has the same end goal in mind. But you have to step back and watch. I always say patience is the weapon that best reveals deception. You have to be patient to see. So why are boundaries necessary? Boundaries are necessary to protect your peace. Boundaries are necessary to protect your peace. Boundaries are necessary to teach people how to treat you, what you will accept, what you will not accept. Boundaries are necessary to create emotional safety so that you're not giving so fast emotionally. Boundaries reveal who respects you and who do not. Because those people who respect you, they honor your boundaries. They're okay with that. Those who do not, that's a good way to see, oh, you're not even respecting my boundaries. So why would we go any further? And if you're feeling guilty, you've got to release the guilt of setting strong boundaries. Yes, it's to respect your peace. It is to respect your peace. You have to forget, you have to get over feeling guilty. Sometimes we were conditioned. We're all products of our childhood. Maybe there was someone in your childhood that made you feel guilty when you did something for yourself. See, not being overly accessible is being true to you and doing something good for you. And sometimes we've been taught that that's being selfish. I need to give. I need to answer. I need to be there. No, it's going to cost you. Sometimes you may equate love with sacrifice. Sometimes you may fear losing people. If I stand up for myself, if I make choices for myself that works for me or my kids or my family. So these are the things I would like for each of us to be sure that we are asking ourselves. I often say we have to ask ourselves the hard questions. We have to ask ourselves the hard questions. No is the complete sentence. No, I cannot do it. Cannot do it. Don't have to always give folks explanations as to why you can't do so. If you're over explaining, that's an issue too. I used to have that. I would over explain because coming from my ex who was an abuser and a narcissist, anytime I was late, I don't care if it was 5 minutes or 2 minutes, I had to account for every step, every minute, every whatever. So I was late. The lady down the street was stopped. Her car stopped in front of me, or the lady in the grocery store didn't have her wallet and she had to go outside and come back. And so years later, my first book, I talk about the effects of being with toxic people. And years later, after doing the work, I wrote about how that is an effect. I would show up to people a minute late and I'd be, oh, I'm so sorry. This happened and that happened. And they'd be like, Conti, it's okay, baby. You only 5 minutes late. And I realized I was being overly explaining, overly giving, overly accessible because it came from someone toxic. And when you start to date healthy people, there's patterns that has to change. There's patterns that have to be new and different because you want new and different from others. So I'm not going to go over too much more. I had some questions. If you got some, pop them in the chat. I've got a couple that you guys wrote into, Demi and I. So just remember, do not struggle to say no. If you don't feel it, you don't feel it. And it's okay. And this could be for family, friends, dating, or what have you. If you're feeling like I'm giving too much, and remember, like I said, at this point in our age and our time, You have to give to you. You have to do for you. And you want people who are going to come in your life and do the same. Who's going to cherish you, who's going to honor you, who's going to respect your time, who's going to respect your boundaries, and who's not going to want you to be overly giving and overly accessible. You want them to work. You want to be the on the high shelf, person, high level, high shelf. Let me see, do you really want to make the sacrifice? And what I found with men who are operating in their masculinity and not aggressiveness, that's two different things. Men who are operating in their masculinity and they're healthy, they will go out of their way. If you're dating someone and they are not inconveniencing themselves for you, they don't like you like that. They don't like you like that. Those type of men who are healthy, looking for the woman that they want to take care of, love, be good to. And even men, same thing with women. These are people that will they will go out of their way, but it's not to, what I'm trying to say is you want to see the sacrifices, but you don't want anybody to sacrifice to the point where you feel like they are mistreating somebody or overlooking something for you. And you don't want to do the same thing for somebody else. And a person who is healthy will understand that and respect that. They're going to respect the time that they get with you, but they're going to make sure that they give you the time that you need and show up like they're intentional, like they're supposed to be there, like they're planning for you. They are putting effort in for you. Effort. You want to see that effort. And if you are too accessible, you may miss out on seeing the effort. Put that word in the chat. Effort. All right, I'm going to end it. I've got a couple of questions here. I hope that helped with your question, Lori. Someone says, and this is kind of like her question as well. What's the difference between being supportive and being used? You can be supportive, but again, when you are supportive, it feels good. When you're being used, it doesn't. I always say that we have an internal navigation system. It's just that we do not listen to it. We don't listen to it. So it is telling you when you're doing something that's supportive. But if you keep giving and doing and being used, then that's going to show up. And you're going to feel taken advantage of and taken for granted. People know you keep saying, I can't do it, but you keep doing it. Then they're going to keep asking you. Then that's going to lead right into being used. How do I set boundaries with someone I love without hurting the relationship? Ooh, healthy boundaries. This is healthy boundaries. If you're setting boundaries and it hurts the relationship, it's not a healthy relationship. It's not a healthy person. It's not a person that you want to continue to have something with long term. And this is why my 5 stages of vetting is important, because you want to make sure that you are setting the boundaries ahead of time before the person comes. So they already know if they haven't passed the boundaries test, then you shouldn't even be in a relationship with them. You don't want to backtrack. Don't take people for granted. Absolutely. And Demi has some great techniques too for when you're dating and spotting things with people who are, when you're first starting in that relationship. We pull our techniques together, our strategies together. So you want to look at what those things that she has that can help with that. I have a lot of stuff to make sure you're ready and you're dating from the right place and you set those boundaries before those people even come into your life. So you want to make sure of that. All right. So one more question. This one is, how do I know when I'm giving too much in a relationship? Well, matter of fact, that needs to be the next that needs to be the next topic, because that's a loaded question. I hate to say it because we do have men on here, we do have men listeners, but I feel like this: a female Men like to chase, men like to pursue. It's just how we're built and how we made. If they're giving five, you need to be giving. If they're on an energy of 5, you need to be giving a 3, a 2, or a 3. If they're on an energy of 8, you need to be giving a 4 or 5. If they're on an energy of 10, you need to be giving a 7. You don't ever want to overgive someone in a masculine energy. You don't ever want to overgive anyway if you're a female with a male, because what you're going to do then is train that person that they don't have to give. They're taking advantage of you. And if it's a masculine energy, healthy person, you're going to train that person that you, for some reason, you're not ready to allow them to treat you like the queen that you are. They're going to look at it. Something about her that's not that level of worthiness. So we can get into all of that another time, but that's a good topic. We might have to use that when Demi comes back. That might be our next topic. All right. Thank you all so much. I hope you've enjoyed this. We cannot tell you how much it is a joy for us to be able to communicate with you on a weekly basis and really help you understand how to date differently. All right. Y'all be good and y'all be blessed. And we will see you. Remember to make sure you follow both of us on all of our social media platforms. We do have a Dating Differently page, Facebook page. Subscribe to all of our YouTube pages. Also follow us on all of our social media platforms, and join us next week as we continue to give strategies on dating with clarity, moving with intention, and choosing with confidence, so that we can help you look forward to continuing to love intentionally and making sure that you heal completely and date differently. You all be blessed.